the man who threatened to burn down their house and destroy their children, sat on the jury that ruled the fire accidental. He was there in October 1945 when he made the threat. He was there on December 26th when the jury closed the case. He was never investigated. No record of his name survives. 5 children were never seen again. That is not where this story ends. That is where it begins. Before we talk about what happened, you need to know who they were. George Sodder was born in Sardinia, Italy. He was 13 years old when he came to America alone. 13, alone, in a country where he did not speak the language. He worked at the Pennsylvania railroads. He built a trucking business from nothing. He married Jennie Cipriani. They had 10 children. 5 of them were asleep upstairs on Christmas Eve, 1945. Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie, Betty, ages 5 to 14. George was an outspoken man. He had opinions and was not afraid to express them. One of those opinions was about Mussolini. Many in Fayetteville's Italian community had supported the dictator. George had not. He had said so, loudly, more than once. In a small town, that kind of thing is remembered. In autumn 1945, 2 things happened that George did not take seriously enough. First, a stranger came to his door, walked the property, stopped at the fuse boxes, and said, "This house will go up in smoke. Your children are going to be destroyed." Second, an insurance salesman came to the door. George declined. The salesman said, "Your house is going up in smoke. Your children will be destroyed. You'll be paid for the remarks about Mussolini." 2 men, separate visits, the same threat. George did not take this seriously. He had no reason to, not yet. December 24th, 1945. An ordinary Christmas Eve, the kind nobody notices when they are inside it. Marion had saved her own money to buy the younger children gifts. George and Jennie let the children stay up late. It was Christmas. What was the harm? George and Jennie went to bed with 2-year-old Sylvia. 5 children were asleep upstairs. At 12:30 a.m., the telephone rang. Jennie answered. A woman she didn't recognize asked for someone who didn't live there. Laughter in the background, glasses clinking, a wrong number, nothing more. Jennie hung up, noticed the door unlocked, lights still on downstairs. She turned them off, locked the door, went back to bed. She had no way of knowing that call had woken her at exactly the right moment. That if she'd gone straight back to bed, she might not have woken in time to get out. Some researchers believe the call was deliberate. That has never been confirmed. But it has never been satisfactorily explained either. Within the hour, her house was on fire. George Sodder was a strong man. Not a man who stood by, not a man who waited for someone else to act. When the staircase caught fire and his 5 children were upstairs, he did everything a strong, practical man could think to do. He went back inside, broke a window with his arm. The smoke drove him back. He could not reach them. He tried to call for help. The phone was dead. Not struggling, dead, cut clean. The repairman confirmed the line had been cut before the fire started. Marion ran to the neighbors. No answer. A neighbor tried from a tavern. No answer. George kept a ladder against the house, specifically for emergencies. He had prepared. He was that kind of man. He went to get it. It was gone. Moved. Away from the house. In the night. Both trucks. Neither would start. Both had worked perfectly the day before. The rain barrel was frozen solid. The fire department was 2.5 miles away. They did not arrive until 8 a.m., 7 hours after the fire began. By the time they arrived, the house had been ash for hours. There is no way to know what George Sodder felt in those 7 hours. There is only what he did for the next 24 years, which tells you everything. Christmas Day, Morris told the family no remains had been found. December 26th, one-day inquest, accidental fire, 5 children dead. Death certificates before the new year. One day, one inquest, 5 children, case closed. Then Jennie started researching. She did something no official had done. She burned animal bones. Sat at her kitchen table and tested the official version herself. Chicken bones, beef joints, every test left identifiable remains. Funeral directors, pathologists, cremation experts all told her the same thing. Human bones remain identifiable even after 2,000 degrees for 2 hours. The Sodder house fire burned for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. The science said 5 cremated bodies was impossible. And the wiring, inspected and cleared, recently rewired. As the house burned, the Christmas lights downstairs remained on. If faulty wiring caused the fire, why were the Christmas lights still burning as the house came down? The investigation that closed this case in a single afternoon was not the investigation this family deserved. What the fire chief did next was never included in the official report. What C.C. Tinsley discovered would have been impossible to believe if it had not come directly from the man himself. In 1946, the family hired private investigator C.C. Tinsley. Fire Chief Morris, the man who told the family no remains were found, had confessed something to a local minister. He had found what he believed was a heart in the ruins. He had put it in a metal box and buried it on the Sodder property. His reasoning: the family would find it, accept their children were dead, and move on. He thought he was helping them. Tinsley confronted Morris. Morris admitted it. He showed them where the box was. It was beef liver. Fresh beef liver that had never been near a fire. Fire chief fabricated evidence of human remains to close the case of 5 missing children, whose parents refused to stop asking questions. No disciplinary action. He continued as fire chief. The case remained closed. When George excavated the site under pathologist Oscar Hunter, the only bone fragments were animal remains from a cow. Not one identifiable fragment of any of the 5 children was ever found at that site. Then Tinsley found the most significant single fact in the entire case. The insurance salesman, the man who threatened George Sodder 2 months before the fire, had been on the coroner's jury that ruled the fire accidental. He was in the room on December 26th. He heard the evidence. He voted on the ruling. The man who made the threat closed the case. There is more. He had previously worked for George Sodder. He was co-signer on the family's insurance policy. Increased from $1,500 to $1,750 before the fire, without their knowledge, without their consent. Prior knowledge of the property. A documented threat against the family. Financial benefit from the fire. On the jury that closed the case in a single afternoon. He was never investigated, never named, unknown to this day. That, more than anything else, tells you exactly how this investigation was conducted and exactly why it ended the way it did. George and Jennie did not only have the science on their side. A woman watching the fire from the road said she saw children peering from a passing car as the house burned. A motel operator between Fayetteville and Charleston served breakfast the morning after to a group including children, matching the Sodder descriptions, Florida license plates on the car. Ida Crutchfield, a Charleston hotel operator, reported seeing 4 of the children 1 week after the fire. 4 Italian-speaking adults. Immediate hostility. They left early the next morning. None confirmed, none disproven. None thoroughly investigated by authorities who had already closed the case. George once saw a magazine photograph of New York schoolchildren and believed One was Betty, his missing 5-year-old. He drove to Manhattan, asked to see the child. He was refused. Every lead, every door, closed in his face. In 1952, 7 years after the fire, George erected a billboard on the site of the house that had burned. Not because he had given up, because he had not. 5 children's photographs, what they might look like as adults. A reward, $5,000, then $10,000. What was their fate? Kidnapped, murdered, or are they still alive? George never used the word dead for his missing children, not once. They wrote to the FBI. Hoover, matter of local character, outside jurisdiction. Local authorities never requested help. The case stayed closed. The West Virginia legislature held hearings. The governor said the case was hopeless. Every institution, every authority, all pointed back to Fayetteville. In 1968, Jennie received an envelope, no return address, postmarked Kentucky. Inside, a photograph of a young man. She looked at it for a long time. On the back, Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie, Ill boys, a 90132. Louis was 9 when he disappeared. The man appeared to be in his late 20s. Exactly right, in 1968. If Louis had been alive all along. Jennie believed she was looking at her son, grown up, alive. She hired a detective. He went to Central City, Kentucky. He never reported back. He was never seen again. 2 investigators, both vanished while working the case. In 1968, George told the Charleston Gazette-Mail, "Time is running out for us, but we only want to know. If they did die in the fire, we want to be convinced. Otherwise, we want to know what happened to them. Not justice, the truth. Just the truth." After 23 years, George Sodder died in 1969. He never found out. After George died, Jennie stayed. She tended the garden that grew over the site of everything she had lost. She wore black every day, not for a year, for the rest of her life. She kept the billboard standing. George built it to find the children. After he was gone, Jennie kept it because she could not take it down. Because taking it down meant accepting something she would never accept. Jennie Sodder died in 1989. Her children took the billboard down. It had stood for nearly 40 years. The last Sodder child was Sylvia, the 2-year-old who escaped in her mother's arms on Christmas Eve, 1945. She never believed her brothers and sisters died in that fire. In her final years, still on true crime forums, still asking the same questions. 74 years later, still searching, still waiting. Sylvia Sodder Paxton died April 21st, 2021. She was 79 years old. She died not knowing. In 2014, a researcher filed a Freedom of Information request with the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office. The response, no files remaining related to this case. All of them, gone. No charges ever filed. No one ever held accountable. The man who threatened to burn down their house sat on the jury that ruled the fire accidental. Not a theory, documented. Confirmed across multiple independent sources. He was never investigated, never named, never identified. And 5 children whose photographs stood on a West Virginia highway for nearly 40 years are still waiting for someone with the authority to act, to ask the question George Sodder never stopped asking. He spent 24 years asking it. He died without an answer. Not because the answer did not exist, but because the people who had it were never made to give it. Someone knows what happened to them. They always have. If this case deserves to be heard, share this video. Dark Matter Stories, new episodes every week, where reality gets darker.